Hello all. So I just recorded a video and it's funny because I'm coming back from like not recording for a little bit because I wasn't feeling well. And that was basically my hi, it's 2025 and I have made it, but I wasn't really feeling well. So in that video, I literally said like I am mind you, I just did that video. So well, I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna matter because I might do these at the same time and I might not. Or just, I might save it for tomorrow. Who knows? Um Point being is that something popped in my head like literally minutes after finishing the last one, and it's very random and it has nothing to do with my life personally. And I was just saying how like so far I've been filming about like, just I've been talking about my life personally. I think I might have had a couple random subjects, but basically it's like, you're gonna hear the whole thing in the last one about how like last time on my video I mentioned such and such or whatever, and then I might like, keep going off that topic or just mention things that have happened like since then because like that's the kind of style of stuff I'm doing. And then like I said, like right after filming that, I was like, oh yeah, Queen Charlotte. So I haven't seen Bridgerton, I haven't seen Queen Charlotte, I haven't seen Marie Antoinette, I have not seen any of the Bridgerton-esque type shows. I've seen clips online, but I haven't actually watched a single episode of any of them just yet. But it's just, I don't know, it just popped up in my feed. And I really like the whole, I mean, I think I'm the target demographic for that show. I think, so it would be like right up my alley, I suppose, gender. I want to say maybe nation. I don't know if other nations. I mean, I'm sure they're watching Bridgerton. That's anyway. Point being is that so just a couple things about so far what I've noticed about the clips and things and whatnot. So first thing is the fashion because like it's all back then. It's all royal. It's all like flashy and like these are literally royal people. So that's the first thing. And my personal style, I love things like that. I love elements of things like that. Like you would never catch me in my regular life, like in a 1800s-esque type ball gown. Like I would never say that I'm like one of like the like is super committed the right word type of to that style. I do like it. I like it so much. I actually got this dress from a thrift shop. And it's super cute. It's super lacy. It's super bright. It's very it was called coquettish. And I actually didn't even know what that coquettish? Yes. Yes, that's the word. Yeah. So I didn't even know what that word meant. Had to Google it. And then I really resonated with it when I saw like what it meant. Though, like, for me personally, I would say I like elements of it more than it's my style, because it's not, I don't think it's necessarily my style, because, like, that's just how I feel. I'm not super, like, yeah, I don't know. I like elements of it. We're talking about Bridgerton anyway. I got caught up in the fashion of it all because I do. That's part of why I like looking at the clips and whatnot. It's because it's very beautiful. But anyway, to get into the relationships of it, and mind you, I have not watched the show, so this is in no type of way commentary or like there's nothing actually about Bridgerton in this video, but it's just like that's where this kind of all popped up at. So my something that I just kind of noticed through the clips of the like different shows that I've been seeing on my shorts and reels and things like that was the differences between Queen Charlotte and Marie Antoinette. Well, the differences and the similarities actually, and it was said that they were friends, so I think that's pretty interesting. So I think I'll eventually watch these, and I want to see if that happens. Like I want to see if like in any of the series, because it seems to me from excuse me, from what I've been seeing of the reviews that they're accurate. They try to be historically accurate. So I think it'd be really cool to see that, to see them write letters to each other if that's a thing that happens in there. But to the main point, from a person who has never watched the show and does not know a lot about that time period, just the similarities and differences in their relationships kind of like really like struck me. Again, from clips, have not watched the show. But a couple of things. Oh, I did a little reading on it actually because it was interesting to me. So let's start with Charlotte because I started. Those were like the first couple. Like I didn't like Bridgerton itself. The show. I don't know if that's even come across my feed yet, but the spinoffs have for sure. So anyway, Charlotte, the first one I saw. So reading up on her, just a little like reading I did because after I like got really hooked on the shorts and whatnot, I decided to like look at the royal like bloodline from Charlotte to like now basically. Anyway, Charlotte got married for what is that? For an alliance, you know what I mean? For like well, I mean so did Marie Antoinette, but okay, so Charlotte was a royal person, but she wasn't interested in royalty, whereas what I am gathering from the clips that I've seen, Marie Antoinette was very, very interested in like the goings on of the offices and whatnot. And it seems like as problematic as their husbands were, which would have been extremely normal for the time, probably regular, like encouraged maybe even. Excuse me. It seems that both of their husbands did love them for what love was at the time. But the two women had extremely different approaches to their like royal duties, I guess, if you will. And just watching that was really like, I was just like, wow, look at these two young girls in the same situation, a very serious, like, you know, very serious, the most serious situation they could be in at the time in their lives, and the way they handle it. Now, I can't get into the way they handle it exactly because I didn't watch the show, but from what I saw from the clips, Charlotte grows to like love her position basically, and Marie Antoinette, we all know what happens to Marie Antoinette, which is, you know, it's unfortunate, but it is what happened. And from the clips, again, it seems like King George is a better husband to Charlotte than Peter was to Marie Antoinette. And that's just from, again, haven't watched the show. It's just what I observed. That was very interesting to me. It was really interesting because it seems like at first they both didn't want to do it. It was something, no. It seemed, no, Marie Antoinette, like, I saw the meeting between Marie Antoinette and Peter and the meeting between George and Charlotte. Charlotte's trying to escape. She's trying to get out of there. She's like, nope, don't want this. Don't want to go. This will change my mind. She said it was because no one was telling her anything about the king, so he must be like really awful, like extremely awful. Turns out he's just mentally ill. Like, you know, that's being mentally ill does not make you a crappy person. You can be a crappy person and have mental illness. That's true. Like you can be a jerk. You can be mentally ill and be a jerk. But having a mental illness does not inherently make you like treat people extremely like awfully. Now, I am not a doctor. Something I mentioned in my last video. There's a distinguishing to be done here. Now, so I don't know what kind of craziness, well, that's not even the proper term. I don't know what kind of mental illness George had. I think I'm trying to recall, because like I said, I read up a little bit on Charlotte, and I didn't read too much on Marie Antoinette, because, like, you know, her story ends a lot sooner than Charlotte's, and so we know what happens, and, excuse me, hold on. Okay, alright, excuse me, so, what was I saying? Yeah, so we see George and Charlotte meet. Charlotte's trying to get out of there. She's like, yep, no one's gonna tell me about the king, so I gotta climb over this wall, and she sees somebody walking by, and she's like, hey, you help me, gotta get out of here. because this guy probably sucks really bad because nobody's telling me about him. Turns out that's him. So then, later on, I guess they get married because, that was that clip. It was a 1-minute clip on YouTube. And then the clip between Marie and Peter meeting, she, arrives in his official court, and he, walks up to her so he knows that, this is the wife, and he makes fun of her. He does some, he makes fun of her, basically, and then he's like, oh, I'm just kidding, that's fine, no. And then he, is kind of to the guy, I don't know, the guy who, brought her, he's like, but, seriously, though, is she alright? Because, I don't know, she, doesn't, I don't know. And he's like, no, she's good. So he's like, alright then. So then, I guess after that they get married. And from, just those two, points of perspective, the imagery where Charlotte is, fighting tooth and nail to get out, and Marie is like, hello, here I am. I'm your wife, ready to do my humble wifely duties, because this is, back in, the 1800s and things like that. The 1700s, I think, and 1800s, I think, from the dates that I've seen, for the both of them. So, yep. Marie is like, hi, I'm ready. Here we go. I'm your wife. I'll, do wifely stuff now. And Charlotte's like, nope, gotta get out of here. Can't stand it. Already don't like it. Haven't even met him. Nah, pass it up. Take it back home. And it's interesting how their stories, pan out differently. Charlotte ends up really, really, really loving George. And I'm sure that there's love between Marie and Peter. But unfortunately, they die early, both of them. So we don't really get to see that pan out. But it just made me think, little girls are, told to aspire to be princesses. And I forgot where I heard princess lore and or, just, deep diving into, the internets on, just princessdom, or I think as the kids would say, or as the Gen Zers would say, princess core, which I think that's very cute. No, that's more of a style. Look at me. I don't know. I'm an auntie. And that's okay. That's all right. For me personally. I'm a granny at this point because the way okay, well, that's a little joke. It's a joke. I kid. The princesses, yes. So, the life of an actual princess was nothing near the representation of what we have, of our ideals, I will say, of what it is to be a princess. It's actually like those fairy tales. That's another thing I've been seeing a lot on my feed lately. That was more intentional though, because I just started kind of watching cartoons. Again, because I like cartoons, but I haven't watched them regularly. I'll go through bouts of watching some of my old favorite cartoons, and then it'll filter out of my feed, and then it'll just happen every so often. That's kind of the cycle of that. But anyway, excuse me. The point of cartoons and whatnot is so I've got cartoons in my feed. I've got folklore and mythical things going on in my feed because I've gone down this rabbit hole of just random stuff because I kind of wanted to shake up my algorithm. My algorithm was looking very much the same for a good minute. The last time I did a big clean out on my algorithm, well, actually no, I did one right before I moved. But so after I moved, I settled. My algorithm got settled too, and I felt like I just needed to shake some things up to make a little change. So anyway, that's how the princess stuff, the folklore, all the stuff I'm talking about right now. That is how, and the point of the video and why it came to be. Okay, the Brothers Grimm. That's where I was going with that. How the fairy tales of today, they all usually have happy endings. That's the point of a fairy tale. But the Brothers Grimm, they have the real ending, which is usually just not great. That's basically princesshood, the life of a princess in a nutshell. No, in saying this, if I were to have a daughter, would I refer to her as a princess? Yeah, bet your bottom dollar I would. Absolutely. 100%. Like, hands down. I don't have an issue with, like, the, I don't know, the aspirational goals of, like, just the cutesiness of princess culture. We'll call it princess culture. There we go. So I don't have to, like, keep thinking of a relevant word to use. I'll just say princess culture. But yeah, I'd have no problem with referring to my daughter as such, because people can be many things. They can wear many hats. And she would be educated on what it was to actually be a princess back then, and the differences of now and then, and the fact that she is not only, like, whatever the heck princess is going to embody by the time I have her, unless it's just something really crazy, like flip backward, because I don't know, like, the world changes so fast, so unless it means something completely deplorable by the time that she exists, because, like, excuse me, she's not, she's nowhere near the idea of existing right here, right now, in this moment, at this time. So if by the time that she exists, it means something just totally not okay, then I won't do it. But if she does, she'll be educated on what it was, what it is now, and the fact that she is so much more than that. Like, she will just know the differences and be able to indulge in the wonderful, beautiful, like, girlhood of it all, like, of princess culture, like the girlhood of princess culture, without the, like, you know, stuffiness of, like, what it actually was. I mean, of course, like, no, you can't just, like, and that's another thing I actually ran across during my, like, internet, like, just searching of, like, nobility and whatnot. Somebody had asked online, like, what could you do to make yourself, like, a noble if you wanted to? I mean, and the answers are exactly what you think the answers are, like, you know, and they are all put in the time of back then. Like, the question was asked this year, or, I mean, recently, I don't know, I don't remember, like, when I was, like, just scrolling through the, like, my internet tabs when I was doing my research and whatnot. Like, the question was asked, like, relatively, it was asked on Reddit, so it was asked recently, right? But, just lost my train of thought. I've been up for a good minute too, though. So there's that. There's that. I'm getting back into the swing of life. So yeah, basically, she'll know the difference. She will know the difference, and I have no problems with referring to her as such. But it's just an interesting, like, I guess it was just an interesting rabbit hole for me to deep dive into, because I like princess culture. I think it's very cutesy. I myself would dress in ways that are coquette-esque. And I didn't even, like I said, I didn't even know that word existed. But it's such a cute word, coquette. It even, like, I don't know, it sounds so much like what it should. Like frills and lace and pretty things like that. And in my everyday, I don't do that. That is not something I do in my everyday. It's something I look forward to doing more in 2025. But, like, not over the top. Just because that to me would be too much. But elements of it, like the dress I mentioned. Some people could look at that and say that that is over the top, but I don't think the dress alone is too much. It is an extremely bright color. It is extremely lacy. Now, it's not like the big, okay, I want to say bouffant, I think, like the big butt dresses that they created after, like, African women. And that's why the dresses look that way. I'm pretty sure it means bouffant. And if it doesn't, because if I click out this video, it's going to end, then I'll just, like, put that in the description somewhere, or I don't know, make a note of it somehow with it. But yeah, so it's not like that style of dress. I want to say it's asymmetrical. Okay. Now, I'm also not the most, like, knowledgeable on fashion terms, but I believe it's an asymmetrical dress. I think that's what it means when it's, like, more fitted up top, or it cinches at the waist, and then it flows out at the bottom. So I believe I'm describing that correctly. It is bright green. It stops at the knees. The midsection is completely see-through lace. The chest is completely covered though, like a couple inches above chest and a couple inches below chest. So the see-through lace you're seeing is straight torso. It's no underboob, straight torso. And the sleeves, I believe I said, are see-through. And it's not long sleeve either. It's shoulder length sleeve. And they're see-through. And it's just the laciest thing you ever did see. But not sexy lace either. It's very appropriate lace. I don't know what to, like, you know, I'm trying to describe it. So hopefully you understand what I'm saying. So anyway, with the description of that dress, when I tell you I fell in love with that dress, the second I saw it, it woke something up in me that hadn't been awake in such a long time. So I think that's why I appreciate this, like, Bridgerton, Queen Charlotte, Marie Antoinette, and I just, like, scrolled back through when I was making room on my phone. Rain is another one. Oh my gosh. So the one scene I've seen from this show, Rain, it was a thing that put the idea on the back of my head to make this video later, which I just thought of after making my last video. And she's crying in a room when the scene opens, right? Her and her husband comes in, and he is like, okay, not verbatim, but, like, you know, paraphrasing. He's like, hey, listen here. You made me look ridiculous. You cried and then ran away from the altar, and I paid a lot of money for you, and you suck. And then she's like, oh, I'm sorry, you know, I'm overwhelmed, you know, there's a lot going on. And he backhands her, and she, like, falls to the ground, and I don't remember if he, like, starts to tell her something, or she, like, gets up and just starts, like, wailing on him. And she does. She gives a combo. She gives a 1-2 piece. And at the end, she yells, and I'm a princess. And I was just like, I love that. I could watch that, like, 600 times over, because it's so, like, and I was going through the comments, too. That's the thing I do sometimes not. Highly dependent on the area, highly dependent on the content. Because you just don't need to consume everything. You know, it's not, that's funny as I say that, because I have been consuming quite a bit in the last few weeks, especially because I've been, just feeling under the weather. Anyway. Right, the comments. So, yeah, she was like, and I'm a princess. Like, the way she just said it was, like, the most, like, the way a 6-year-old girl would say, and I'm a princess. Like, literally, after whooping her fiance. Oh yeah, she was very unhappy in the first place, and she was really upset, and, like, he was just being a douche to her, really. And it's just, like, I love that scene, because that would not have been typical at the time. That was the difference between the other 2, 3, I don't know, maybe even 4. I can't tell the difference between these shows almost. I'm recognizing some of the characters, so I can a little bit, but again, never saw any of it, which I'm sure I've said 7 times at this point at this video, just in case someone's like, but you didn't mention a single thing about the show. Well, I mean, but did you listen? And could you hear me? So, with that being said, I think that was my last point, generally. Oh, well, I mean, I may be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that I myself, like, it doesn't have to be my daughter. Like, I don't think of myself as a princess, all of the time. Because sometimes I do. Sometimes I very much do. I have my moments. But not in, like, not in the princess from Powerpuff Girls princess, but definitely more like the play Queen Charlotte. I don't want Marie Antoinette's fate, so, you know, I'm not messing around with that. But, like, just in my mind. And then more so, like, actually in reality, when it comes to just the way, in the modern way I would like to be treated in general, with care, and, you know, the way a princess, like, obviously would be treated, sans the actual, like, reality of medieval times. I think that's fairly normal, because even as a very big grown woman, that's just something I see on the internet from women in my age bracket. So there's kind of a couple camps about it, though. There are some people that believe that it's a form of self-infantilization and or the infantine. You know what I'm saying? I got it once. I got it out once. So either that in a self way or a way of projecting that out onto all women. So it's terrible and we got to get rid of it and it's horrible. And like, I understand that perspective. I completely understand that perspective. But I don't agree that it's 100% true. And the only way to, I think that there can be multiple truths. And I think that that is good and important to have because if we didn't, I think who knows what would happen. It would be not great, right? If we all had to think the same way and be the same way and act the same way. Like some people would call that utopia, other people would call it hell. It just depends on who you're talking to. And me personally, I like diversity. That's funny. I didn't mean to do that, but it happens from time to time. Yeah, so I think that was my full. Oh, no, I got maybe one more. So I don't know. How do I feel about princess treatment, like romantically, which is most often where I see online women my age talk about princess treatment. I don't see them talking about a princess treatment afternoon with your friends at the mall. That's not something I see with women in my age demographic. When I see princess treatment with women of my age demographic, it is most certainly referring to relationships that I have seen, or in a romantic situation. I'll say that. It deals with romance when, we're talking my age. So, my feelings on that, again, as long as it doesn't devolve into the medieval times, which can still very much happen today, not the same way. Like, you cannot just cut off somebody's head today and be like, well, I was mad at her, or, oh, she was just a crazy woman. You can't, we're getting to the point where I think you can divorce for no reason. But I don't know about that too much, so I won't speak about that too much because I'm not too educated on that topic. But, like, so, good example here. Princess treatment, in the adult woman world I'm talking about, there's a woman, we will call her Jane Doe. And let's say she meets a guy, and this guy is giving her princess treatment. It's great. It's wonderful. It's the best thing in the world, right? And then she, I don't know, maybe say becomes like, okay, so what is it? Oh, yeah, I was comparing it to as long as the bad things in medieval times didn't happen. As long as there's no isolation happening, right? As long as there's no, unhealthy power dynamics happening, okay? As long as there's no, as long as there's nothing happening that would have happened to a, air quotes, bad princess back in the day, I actually don't see anything wrong with the context of princess treatment and grown women in a relationship. And some people will find fault with that. That is okay. That is okay. That is okay. That's an opinion. And my opinion is simply different than that because this is my video about what I'm talking about. So, I think that was the last note, and we are at almost 18 minutes here. That's okay. It's a good video. So, well, on that note, I will talk to you guys in the next one. Later.